Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Full Monty Coding. This is your boy Charles. If you want to learn more coding techniques, be sure to hit that subscribe button. In this video, we'll be going over lists and a little bit of for loops. So let's get after it. To make a list, we create a variable and set that equal to some square brackets. Inside the brackets, we can just add things like strings and integers. Think of the list like a backpack, and inside that backpack has items such as books, computer, pens, pencils, Transformer lunchbox, He-Man action figure toy, so on and so forth. You can also create a list of strings simply by creating a variable, set it to equal a string with a list of words separated by spaces. Something like, let's say, books, pens, binder, folder, and computer. Use the split method so it splits all of these words by the spacing. Let's run it and check the output. So we got books, pens, binder, folder, computer as our list of things. We can also check the data type simply by wrapping our variable inside type. Let's go ahead and run it. So we got our list, books, pens, binder, folder, computer, and our data type is a list. We can also check the data type of item inside list. Let's make another print and use type list, put our variable in there, and you use the square bracket and you use the index notation for this. So we have books, which indexing and lists start out at 0, so it'll be books is 0, and then it'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's just do 2. So that will be 0, 1, 2. So we're going to check binder. Let's go ahead and run it. So we got our list, books, pens, binder, folder, and computer. We got our data type, that's a list. And we got our data type of the specific item inside the string as inside the list as a string. Now let's create a list, and I want to name it backpack. And let's put some items in here. Okay, I put items in this backpack that I usually find in my kids' backpack. We got a book, computer, pencils, lunchbox, and Pokemon cards. And now let's display this list, simply making a print statement. Let's run it. So we got our list, backpack, computer, pencils, lunchbox, and Pokemon cards. Let's go ahead and comment all of this out from above. To comment a whole section out, you can easily just Control KC, and to uncomment out, you go Control KU. So we're going to do KC and comment all that out. So this will only be printed out. So when my kids come home from school, they end up with extra things in their backpack. So let's add some things to the backpack list. We're going to use the append function to add to the list we can append things to the list, and when you use the append function, it adds the item to the end of the list. So let's go ahead and add rocks. Let's go ahead and make another print statement and check out the output. Okay, so here we have our first list, and now you can see that rocks is added to the end of the list. We can also add to the specific index by using the insert function. So let's add pens to the list using the insert method. And the insert method needs, or it takes, two arguments. One is the position and the other is the item. So let's put it in position 3 or index 3, and let's add pens. Let's go ahead and check the output and run it. Here's our updated list of items in backpack, and at index 3 we can see we have pens. 0, 1, 2, and 3 pens. So when my kids get home, I have to check their backpack for items because one time one of my kids' backpack was so heavy, like a military rucksack, and lo and behold, rocks was in their backpack. My kid is, I guess, a geologist. So I have to remove the rocks from their backpack. In order to remove an item from a list, we have multiple functions that we can use. Let's use remove function first. We could simply say backpack dot remove, and we have to give whatever the item that we want to remove. Rocks. Let's go ahead and check the output. So there you have it. Rocks is removed from our list. Now let's use delete and take out Pokemon cards. The delete method is to remove an item by its index. In order to do this, we do delete backpack, and with this we need to define the index, because if we don't and just leave it as just delete backpack, it's just going to delete the entire list. So we want to specify the index. So if we're trying to remove or delete one of the items inside the list, so let's say Pokemon cards, we can do this one or two ways. We know that Pokemon cards now is at the end of the list, so we say -1, which is going to take away from the end of the list. Or if we know the specific index, or we know the length of the index, and we know that it's the 5th one, it'll delete that specific index. Let's go ahead and display backpack. Now we have Pokemon cards removed or deleted from the list. Now at the end of the school year, my kid's backpack has to be cleared out. So in order to clear out our list, or our items inside the backpack, we're going to use the clear function. And the clear function empties out the contents from the list, but keeps the variable. In order to do this, we simply say backpack dot clear. Let's go ahead and display this. All right, so there we got. Our list is now cleared out. We can also add to our list by concatenating. We make our variable name, set that equal to the variable, and we will add a list. So let's add class folder, computer, pencils, and how about a binder? Let's check out the output real quick. Okay, we got our class folder, computer, pencils, and binder inside the list. The class folder in my kid's backpack is taken out at the beginning of the week and then put back at the end of the week. So we want to remove an item and save it for later. We can use the pop function and save the item to a variable. And let's call this variable and set it equal to backpack dot pop. When we're using the pop function, we have to use an index. So the index that we want to pop out is at index 0, and that's the class folder. Let's go ahead and display our backpack list, and let's display our variable. Let's go ahead and run it. And there we got our list, and it took out the class folder, and class folder is saved as a variable. Let's go ahead and add the variable back in by using the append method. And display the output. Okay, we have the class folder back in our backpack. Now what if we want to iterate through the backpack and display each item? Well, we're going to use a for loop to display each item. To make a for loop, we just simply say for, and we have to give a variable name in the loop for the item to be called inside of the list, or in this case, our backpack. So let's call each item inside backpack. Now let's do something in the loop. We'll make it print out each item inside of the backpack. Let's run it. So here our output shows that each item was displayed every time it looped through the for loop. We can use index notation to delete a specific range inside our list. So we simply do delete backpack, and let's give it the range. In this case, we could do this in different ways. If we want to delete everything, we can go from 0 all the way to -1. Or we would have to know the specific amount of indexes that we have. Now remember, so if we have 4 items, that'll be 0, 1, 2, 3. But if we go 0 to 3, it's not going to delete the very last item, because how index notation works, it's up to but not including the last index. So I know that I have 0, 1, 2, 3 on the index, so I'm going to put in 0 to 4. Let's go ahead and display our output. So we deleted all the contents inside our list, and we have an empty list again. Now let's add items from a list and put it in another one using a for loop. Let's make a list called school supplies. And let's put some some items or some things inside of this. So we're going to have our books, binder, pens, and pencils. Now let's make a for loop and use item as the for loop variable inside school supplies. And let's make this loop do something. We're going to add or append each item from that list into another list. So we say backpack dot append, and we're going to use each item to append. We can make a print statement inside our for loop so we can see each item being added every time that it loops through. Let's go ahead and run it and see the output. So each time it ran through the loop, it added each item to backpack. So the first time it went through, it added books. Second time, it added binder, and so on and so forth. And since we use the append function, it's adding it to the end of the list. If we don't want to see each item being added, we have to take the print statement outside, and it's just going to print out the finished output of the for loop. Go ahead and run it. So there's our finished output of what the for loop did. We can also use the range and length function to see the length in index. In order to do this, let's wrap our school supplies in a length function. And inside that, we're going to wrap all that inside the range function. Oops. So there's our length range of our backpack. So our index is 0, 1, 2, and 3. Another way of using range function in a loop is we're going to say for I, and that I, you can make that any type of variable you want. In range, and let's do integers, so we'll just say 10. So in the range of 10, matter of fact, let's create a new list. How about number list? Call it numList, and we set that equal to an empty string. And we're going to take each one of those numbers that it's iterating through. We're going to append the numList. Let's make our print statement outside. And let's go ahead and run it. So with our range function, it's always going to add the 0 to the range. So we have 10 numbers in here, but it starts out at 0. So it's not going to include the number 10. If we wanted to include the number 10, then we go to 11. But we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But there's actually 10 numbers in there. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Simple way of using the range function inside of a for loop. And that's it for this video. Hey, thanks for watching. Hope this video helps. If you have any recommendations for other coding lessons or have any questions, leave a comment. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe.